First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rikah Quadash, and amongst those great millstone, while unto his truth, and also to the Ophilac that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom, and come back here today with another great powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is greater evils. So I like to say Shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by ABC News. And it reads, it said, Hurricane Beryl grows to Category 5 strength as it raises Southeast Caribbean islands. Let's get a little bit more. It says here, it said, Bridgetown, Barbados, said Hurricane Beryl strengthened to Category 5 status late Monday after it ripped doors, windows, and roofs off homes across the southeastern Caribbean with devastating winds and storm surge fueled by the Atlantic record warmth. So we already seeing right now we having a lot of extreme heat around the world, and also it's getting it's constantly picking up. Also in Missouri, it was the Missouri River. It had flooded, in between Iowa and Nebraska. So the Midwest, it was flooding up there also. But we seeing right here, they're saying that this storm may be very devastating to Jamaica. So it's headed towards Jamaica right now. So we seeing that these things are constantly picking up. The Lord is visiting the earth that He created, flooding, hailstorm, tempest, tsunamis, hurricane, once again, earthquakes in diverse places. A lot of these things will constantly pick up because we seeing that the end is being manifest right before our eyes. A lot of things are constantly happening. We cannot hardly keep up with it. But one thing about it, the men of the Lord said, warn them for me. So one thing about it, the Lord bring the warning before He bring the great destruction. So it's fast approach. So right here, Hurricane Beryl, we already know that that's spiritual right there. We know that Beryl, that was one of the precious stone that was on the high priest breastplate, and also it represents the tribe of Judah. So that's very spiritual. So that's one of those precious stones, Beryl, and also the Lord. They said that I think it's in Revelation chapter 1 that He said He was clothed in a beryl colored garment. So this is very, very spiritual. So we seeing right here that this hurricane, could cause a lot of devastation, also death. So we seeing that the Lord is constantly bringing forth judgment each and every day. So we constantly warning you left and right. We constantly telling you about all these things that are happening around the world, calamities, catastrophes, events, all around the world. Also rumors of wars, a lot of things are picking up. And also in the news, this Chevron doctrine, they said it was overturned. So we seeing that now that they're like they were saying that a lot of these 3-letter agencies like the EPA, the WEF, many others with these 3 letters, the DMV was saying that it was unconstitutional that they was doing things without Congress consent. So a lot of things is getting overturned. A lot of people are saying that it's a good thing, but one thing about it, we already knowing that this is going to lead into total control. So you had to look up Agenda 47, also look up Project 2025. So we already knowing that He's getting ready to bring forth this new society. One thing about it, it will go under your skin. So we seeing that we seeing that the birth pains are constantly picking up. We seeing that these storms and great sights and all sorts of things are happening around the world, left and right. And also we know that time is constantly accelerating. So now let's get a quick precept of me to be rambling. Let's go here to start here. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 2. Let's start here. It said, let's see. Yeah. Said, He answered and said unto them, said, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. Verse 3 said, and in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and luring. Said, O ye hypocrites, see, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the time? So a lot of our people right now, it's constantly, they can discern the weather, but they cannot discern the signs of the time. That's why the Lord said, there's going to be all sorts of calamities, all sorts of great fearful sights. You know what I'm saying? Also, events going to be taking place left and right before our eyes. So, so a lot of our people right now, they can't see the signs of the time. The end is being manifest right before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing it happening left and right. So, hey, man, a lot of our people, they're in for a rude awakening. Or it's just a storm. It's just a hurricane. It's just an earthquake. It'll pass over. This is, but one thing about it, this is the quiet before the storm. So now let's go here to today's video, and after the video we will start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
The Caribbean is on high alert. Hurricane Beryl made landfall around 11 a.m. this morning on Grenada's Carriacou Island, packing catastrophic winds of 150 miles per hour and a life-threatening 6 to 9 foot storm surge.
We have reports of extensive storm surge. We have reports of extensive loss of roof and damage to buildings.
In nearby Barbados, the storm surge caused flooding and destroyed about 20 boats in this bay. The storm is the first Category 4 hurricane ever recorded in June when it strengthened over the weekend. And it's the first to increase from a tropical storm to an intense Category 4 storm in just 48 hours before September. Hurricane Beryl is on a path to Jamaica, and officials there are asking residents to prepare.
We keep an eye on the forecast, and the forecast is saying that it's not supposed to be much. So you're just going to batten down and ride it out and see what happens.
And to give you an idea of just how unprecedented this storm is, the average date of the first major hurricane is September 1st. Experts say the power of Beryl this early is driven by abnormally warm waters due to climate change that are fueling the storm. Major?
Tom Hansen, thank you so much.
Fox Weather is your Hurricane HQ, and we've got more than just Beryl out in the Atlantic Basin right now. We've got a couple other spots that we're watching for some development. We've got Invest 94L. It's out toward the Yucatan Peninsula. That one's moving a little bit toward the northwest, may end up out over the Bay of Campeche, much like the last couple of storms that we had last week. That's where they originated. So that's kind of a hotbed for activity right now. Of course, obviously, we've got Beryl that's going on as we speak. And then we've got another disturbance that's east of Beryl. Yes, that's another disturbance that's way out in the Atlantic. Again, when you see stuff out there, like way out in the Atlantic with these waves coming off the west coast of Africa, that's something you more typically see as we get closer to the peak of hurricane season, like August, September, October. This is very rare to see this kind of stuff in late June, early July. Let's talk about this one specifically. Again, this is Invest 94L. It's got a 50-50 shot at development as it kind of meanders out there over the Bay of Campeche. So we'll watch this one closely. We'll see what it ends up doing. Definitely worth watching. This is where you would normally see activity this time of year. Places like the Gulf of Mexico, off the southeast coast, sometimes in the Caribbean Sea, a little bit closer to home, but to see stuff east of the Caribbean Sea is really interesting, especially that far out where this next one coming is. And it looks like it's going to take a pretty similar track as Beryl. Now, a lot of uncertainty as far as, what is the strength of this storm going to end up? Is it going to become a hurricane? Could it become just a tropical storm? It's got about a 70% chance of developing over the next 7 days. It's got a while to go before it gets close to land, but it's going to be right on the heels of Beryl. So we will watch that and keep you guys updated very closely.
Hurricane Beryl devastates Grenada. In half an hour, Carriacou was flattened. Hurricane Beryl roared across the Windward Islands on Monday as an extremely dangerous Category 4, delivering catastrophic winds, intense rainfall and life-threatening storm surge. Beryl made landfall shortly after 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time on Grenada's Carriacou Island in the Caribbean Sea with max winds of 150 miles per hour. About 95% of the island of Grenada has lost power due to Hurricane Beryl. Our thoughts are with everyone affected by the storm. Remember to stay informed and follow the advice of local authorities. For the latest updates, please like and subscribe to Curious Bites.
So we're seeing that we're very close. The Lord is constantly bringing all these calamities and these catastrophes left and right. In the middle, Lord, we constantly warning you left and right. So, one thing about it, the time is just winding up. We're seeing one event behind another, one calamity behind another. So we get very close. So let's start today's quick lesson today. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 29. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6. And it reads that thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts, said with thunder and with earthquakes and great noise, with storms and tempests and the flame of devouring fire. So one thing about it, the Lord is causing these things to happen around the world, simultaneously, just like a domino effect. A lot of people right now watching the weather, so it's going to pass. We'd have had this once before, but one thing about it, things are going to increase that you have never seen before. The Lord said going to come with what? With thunder, with earthquakes in diverse places. That great noise goes into these IBCM missiles. You know what I'm saying? This last and final war. You know what I'm saying? World War III. So wars is all in the air right now. Storm. All sorts of weather storm, flooding. You know what I'm saying? Hailstorm, windstorm, all sorts of disaster, tempests. You know what I'm saying? Tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, cyclones. All these things that happen, and that flame of devouring fire. You know what I'm saying? Also goes into these IBCM missiles. Also, you see these forest fires all around the world. So the Lord is visiting the earth that he created. The Lord is getting ready to execute judgment. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, the body count is getting ready to be great. So one thing about it, we're at the beginning of sorrow. So let's go here to Amos, just random scriptures. Amos chapter 3 and verse, I think it's verse 6. Amos chapter 3 and verse 6. And it reads, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord has not done it? So the Lord is in perfect control. Even though a lot of people say they're working at HARP, or they doing this DARPA system that, they constantly do this, what you call this weather manipulate the system, a system that they got in, they say they can control the weather. But one thing about it, it's all through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord's controlling both sides. But one thing about it, the Lord said these things will come upon us. The Lord said he would bring all sorts of calamity upon you because you walked in great pride. So let's go to that one. Let's go here to 2nd Ezra chapter 8. 2nd Ezra chapter 8. 2nd Ezra chapter 8. Let's see. 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. And it reads, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, which in fact is now, shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So Lord has caused these things to happen. So a lot of people are still rebellious. A lot of people are still very sinful and wicked. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to cease all of that very soon. So we're seeing all these prophecies constantly speaking loud and clear. We're seeing that these evils are growing left and right. And one thing about it, because they have walked in great pride, great misery, great calamities, great death and destruction. All sorts of judgment is getting ready to come befall us very soon. So we're seeing that we're here. It is here. It is at the door. So let's go here to Ecclesiasticus chapter 40. Ecclesiasticus chapter 40. Ecclesiasticus chapter 40. Let's get this right here, because this is exactly what we're seeing. This going on a lot too. So we're seeing greater evil is constantly growing. It's constantly intensifies. It's constantly increasing. Ecclesiasticus of Sirach chapter 40 and verse 9. He said, death and bloodshed, strife, and the sword, calamities. That's what we're seeing right now. Calamities and catastrophe. Said famine, tribulation, and discourages. It's constantly picking up. It's constantly increasing. All hell is getting ready to break loose. Verse 10 said, these things were created for the wicked, and for their sake came the flood. So we know what happened in Noah's time. These are the days of Noah, but not by water, but by fire this time. So the Lord causing all these events and calamities that happen all around the world. Because one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to bring forth that judgment. And first mighty judgment will start at the house of Israel. So we already know that, it's approaching, I think, Jamaica, so they're saying that, it's going to be, it could be very devastating. So we seeing that also as many other storms are constantly brewing out there in the Atlantic Ocean out there. So we knowing that we getting very close. All of a sudden, all sorts of calamity can come upon you. Putting out off from day to day, because we are very close to these times. We seeing that we're here. So let's go to our last and final script. Not meant to be a long lesson tonight. Let's go here back to Second Ezra chapter 14. Second Ezra chapter 14. And see where I'm at here. It might be 13. No, it's here. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13. It said, now therefore set thy house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So right now, get your house in order, examine yourself. And one thing about it, gird up your loins, because one thing about things, these times, it's going to get worse and worse. It's going to be more dark, perilous times are coming upon us. It's time to get your house in order. And it said, reprove thy people, comfort such of them that be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So one thing about it, hey, it's time to put off the old man, and one thing about it, and walk in the spirit, It said that the just shall live by faith and not by sight. So one thing about it, that we coming upon this time, and one thing about it, we got to be totally locked in, we got to be totally under that subjection under Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, because we know that the Lord is the only one that can deliver us. And one thing about it, if you're not of the elect, you will be totally destroyed. Verse 14 said, let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak natures. A lot of people right now still are worldly, still, right now don't have faith, so when this time of trouble comes, they're going to be effeminate, they're going to be afraid, travailing like a woman with child. That's why the Lord said, put off now, the weak nature, the mortal thoughts, got to let go of this world. One thing about it, come out of this place spiritually, come under that total subjection, lean not on your own understanding, but trust and believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 15 said, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee, and flee from these times. Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So they're going to constantly increase. These evils going to constantly grow left and right, this gross darkness. And one thing about it, it's going to constantly pick up a time of trouble that we have never seen before. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. So we're seeing that things is constantly increasing. Things are constantly intensify. We're seeing that time is constantly accelerate. But the Lord said, for the elect's sake, those days shall be short. Verse 17 said, for look how much the world shall be weaker through aid, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So that's what we're seeing left and right. Increase earthquakes, increase signs, and wonders, increase calamities and catastrophe. We're constantly seeing these things left and right. Verse 18 said, for the time is fled far away, and leasing or lying is hard at hand. For now hasten the vision to come which thou hast seen. So one thing about that vision or that prophecy or the signs of the time, we're very close, to the end time. The end has been manifest right before our, and also the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, and also our salvation is at the door. And one thing about it, the men of the Lord are constantly sighing and crying left and right, even though that will sound like a broken record. But hey, one thing about it, we're going to constantly do the Lord's will until the Lord shut this truth down. We know that famine of the word is fast approaching. We know that the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. So the title of the day lesson once again is greater evils. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rikak Kwadash. I like to say Shalom, Shalom.